Unprecedented number of asylum seekers from Russia, nearly 40,000, 76% higher than in 2012. Now, Afghanistan has dropped from first to third place. More than 38,000 people fled the country, and that's down by 19%. So, lots of figures there. Let's try and crunch through them and try and get an idea as to what they exactly mean. We can talk now to Jessica Therkelsen, who is in Oakland, California. She's Director of Global Policy with Asylum Access. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us here at Al Jazeera. And as I mentioned, there's a raft of figures, a raft of information there. But what really leaps out at you from this report?
Hi, and thank you so much for having me here today. Well, initially, what leaps out at me is, of course, that these numbers are very disturbing trends, and we are seeing increases in Syrians and Russians who are applying for asylum in industrialized nations. But I think the one key element of the report to remember is that it really does focus in on industrialized nations. It is not truly a global report. So clearly we're seeing an increase in asylum seekers, but really the 40,000 Russians seeking asylum in industrialized nations actually represents about 1/4% of refugees globally.
Indeed, so the vast majority of people are actually just moving across borders without any kind of official processing.
That's right. One example of this might be in Lebanon and Jordan, which host approximately 1,500,000 refugees, respectively. In those countries, oftentimes refugees come across so fast that they are recognized as prima facie refugees. So they don't necessarily go through an individualized asylum proceeding, but the numbers are incredibly high. I also want to point out that really there are about 16 million refugees in the world today, and 80% of those are known to be in least developed countries, so not industrialized countries. They're in Africa, Asia, and Latin America. And they tend to stay in exile for an average about 20 years at this point. So while these increased numbers are very concerning because they increase the overall numbers of refugees in the world today, it is a slightly different picture when you look at the global trends of refugees in total.
And Jessica, people have always moved, haven't they? People, since we first arrived on Earth, we've always moved, usually in search of more resources or of better conditions. What does it tell us today when we see a large number of people on the move? What are the circumstances that lead to that phenomenon?
Sure. Well, applying for asylum and achieving refugee status means that an individual has left their country, not simply because there's a desire to move, but because there's actually persecution in that home country and the government is not able or is unwilling to protect that individual. So what we're seeing then is as these numbers grow and grow and grow, what that indicates is that more people are moving because of conflict and persecution than for other reasons like economic migration.
All right, Jessica Therkelsen, Global Policy Director with Asylum Access, talking to us live there from California. Thank you so much for your time and explaining some of those numbers to us.